So I see we already have a few students joining us, and hopefully there will be more. Those who will be watching later will have the recording. And as always, those in the Americas at this time are probably in school. Those in Asia, Australia are probably already asleep. And those in Europe and Africa probably done with school, but maybe relaxing afterwards. But we have a few participants, and we have a very special guest today, Aleitin Berisha. So I had been calling him Alechtin for many years, and only in our last meeting I discovered that it's actually Aleitin. So my apology, and this time I know how to do it, how to say it right. So Professor Berisha is a very interesting person for several reasons. First of all, he is a professor at a university in Pristina in Kosovo. But in addition, unlike most professors, he actually does some hands-on stuff. So he couldn't just go and teach his lectures and go home. So he decided to do something more. And so he started some years ago with his partners, he started the Finnish Schools International. It's a network now of private schools that use the Finnish educational system approach and basically offer high quality education to children in Pristina, and now they're expanding around the world. And so not only it's an interesting educational model, but also it's one that could be expanded around the world. And so today we would like to learn more about his business, about his company, about his maybe personal journey. Again, I haven't seen many people brave enough to sort of, do something like this in addition to their main job. But at the same time, if you students have any questions, and we already have prepared some questions for the discussion as well, so this is your opportunity to learn more about the business. And so likewise, if you have any questions about the tasks and questions in the brief, in the instructions for you, this is your chance to clarify it. So I'm going to turn the microphone to, and so yes, hosting the event is Rafael Tamashiro. So Rafael has been with Xculture for many years, 5, 6, 7 maybe. He started as a student, then as a coach, then as a head coach. And so for the last few years, he was basically the director for the academy program. So everything related to professionals or teenagers, he's in charge. So he's the one processing all those emails, scheduling the meetings, making sure, looking at the applications and stuff like that. And so Rafael, I'll turn the microphone to you so that you can host the meeting, but I think maybe it would be best if maybe Aleitin started the meeting with a quick, maybe historic overview of how he came about with this idea, how this company started, and a little bit about exactly what Finnish Schools International does and how these things go. And so with your permission, I'll leave now. Have a nice webinar, and I'll watch the recording later.
Thank you so much, Vas. Thank you so much opportunity. It's great to be back again. I will tell you a little bit more about myself later on, because I have also a very long Xculture. I was in the second cohort of Xculture back in 2011. And I'm just looking, I think I should have had somewhere a certificate from the first cohort, but cannot find it now. Here in my office, I was looking, I think it should be somewhere. I have a few offices. It is in one of the walls, because it was I think it's a long time ago, and that is, I believe now 11 years ago. So I have that experience with Xculture. And Rafael, if it's fine with you, I would also like to share some slides to give a bit more of a background. But basically, as Vas said, I teach entrepreneurship and international business at the university, and I've taught at several universities around the world. But in addition to that, I have been an entrepreneur and a small-scale angel investor in edtech and education-related startups. So all my life, it's been around education, whether teaching or leading or as an entrepreneur. Several years ago, I decided to basically create a new provider in the K-12 field that would be very different from what is offered in the international private education market, but would still be a proven concept with proven results. And I went to Finland only in 2015 for a conference called Slush, and then I decided to extend my stay and get to learn much more about Finnish model in education. In 2016, I brought together a team to build the company. We worked for a year and we wanted to build a network of schools, but initially piloting it in a country where we thought would be the hardest to do it, and where we thought if it works here, it will work anywhere. But also it was a country of my origin, my country, Kosovo, which some of you might have heard, like 23 years ago, we had a war.
Yeah.
So it still has been, I mean, now it's a very different situation, but still, we've had a relatively troubled past. So I worked for a year in building up the concept, the model, and in 2017, in June, we launched the company and we publicly launched that we're opening up the first school in Pristina in 2018. So for us, it was all, let's say, 14 months in advance. And the interest was overwhelming. I will, if it's fine, I will share the screen in
Yes,
order
please.
to provide a bit more, I would say, context to what I am talking about. So what we want to do is very simple. We want to change the world one student at a time. So for us, there is no better way of really changing the world than by impacting one life at a time. As a mission, we see our mission as developing smart, creative, happy, and healthy individuals for the fourth industrial revolution. So if you pay attention to those four keywords, we focus on smart and creative, which is important, but we also focus on happiness and health, which sometimes schools tend to overcome. And the problem with the current model of education globally is that COVID has actually has shown so many weaknesses in our education system. We still have a 19th century industrial revolution built education system, which it's built on batches, which is built on factory-like system. While we are now in the fourth industrial revolution, everything else has changed, but not the education, unfortunately. We have a one-size-fits-all, not personalized education, and the problem with the one-size-fits-all is that kids are very different, people are very different, and we want to cater to different needs. Now, I forgot something important. The starting point for my journey was when I read a study done by a few NASA scientists years ago. They looked at the levels of creativity, of how it evolves in terms of while people grow, I would say. So they surveyed around 1 million people on a multitudinal study for around 30 years. They looked at them when they were 4 years old, and they were shocked because 98% of those kids were actually genius in terms of creativity. So almost every kid in the world is actually genius in terms of creativity when they are 3 to 4 years old. And then they looked at that after they become 10 years old and 15 and adults. So right after, when they were 10, it dropped to around 30%. So now only 30% of those kids were actually geniuses in creativity. When they grew up further, it went down to 15%. And when they became adults, it went down to 2%. So only 2% still remained geniuses in creativity. For me, this was shocking. But what was more shocking was that actually the main reason why this happened was the education system. So education system actually kills creativity. And why then we trust our kids to the institution that we thought will actually provide a better prospect for our kids. And that's why I actually wanted something that actually will nurture further the creativity. And we build a model which we believe, and we've proven that you can do more with less. So we focus on education, but less on schooling. And we don't do a lot of, our model is not based so much on tests, on exams, on competition among the kids, but it's much more built on developing the social-emotional skills of our kids, focusing on creativity rather than on and more collaboration instead of competition. Because in today's world, it's very hard to do things on your own. And then 6 education pillars, we start from the state-of-the-art curriculum, which focuses on individualized, personalized learning. So we create individual learning plans for every kids on a rather holistic learning approach, valuing a lot teamwork. We build enjoyable learning environments. We pay a lot of attention to learning environments because the environment has a huge impact on learning and development for kids. We integrate technology, creativity, and imagination, and everything we do is experiential. We want our students, our kids, to actually do things hands-on, learn by doing on everything that they do. And you will see later on how we combine, for example, from building a garden to actually cooking in our home economics lab, and how we do kitchen science, where we also learn about science, where we learn about sustainable development, where we learn about healthy eating, all at the same time. So some of the unique learning experiences that we provide is, of course, in today's world, it's very important to actually integrate computational thinking and coding from the very early ages. We build, I think, a very advanced STEM program across the school, so kids from the age of 5, they will actually be immersed into STEM learning. The design of our campuses is a lot of co-learning spaces, as we call, just like co-working spaces, as you would see, rather than just typical classrooms that we are used to. And we use a lot of outdoor. For example, every 45 minutes in the primary, we send kids for 15 minutes outside, which is actually, it's not just a recess, it's actually continuation of learning. Because, learning happens everywhere, not just on a 4 walls space. Science, as I mentioned, through kitchen science, advanced technology, and we integrate arts and crafts together up to 3 hours per week to actually develop creativity, which is, I think, the most important ingredient for a successful and happy life, and to develop team dynamics further. And then we embed sustainable development in everything we do. And I think this is from school garden to healthy lifestyle, everything that we do is there. You might have come across a lot of articles about the Finnish education miracle, and it's true. I think it's very unique. It's very hands-on with proven results, and this is important. In the Finnish education systems, kids don't get tested a lot. There are no standardized exams, but when they sit on PISA, they score very high. Although they're not trained for that, they still score very high. One thing that we're very proud of, although as a young company, we have had quite a bit of media exposure. We've been several times on CNN. We've been featured on Forbes. And one thing I would want to show, I'm not sure if you will see it now. Just one second. A CNN video. So we have been part of the CNN Freedom Day activities for the last 2 years, and they were so inspired by the work of our students that this year they decided to make our school in Pristina a CNN highlight for a period between 6 months to 1 year. So if you watch CNN International today, once per day, you might come across our school video, 90 seconds on CNN. And if it goes like that for 1 year, that's around 30,000 seconds, which if we paid, it would be anything between 15 million and 105 million dollars if it was an advertising campaign, which obviously we wouldn't be able to do or afford. Just 1 second, I will try to share this again. And can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can.
So can you see the video?
Yes, but I think that there is no audio. Yeah, I can hear. I can't hear. Can you try to share again with audio? Maybe the audio is not available.
You couldn't you cannot hear the audio, no?
No, I couldn't. Click on share screen, share audio. There is a square right down below when you click on share screen.
Share sound.
Yes.
Yes. You see, I've been using Zoom for now so many years, and you know, I learned something new today.
Yeah, me too, me too.
Let me do it again then.
Yes, now I can hear.
Our mission is to see this young generation of leaders growing up make change in the world. My name is Edlira Debrane, and I'm the Communications Officer of Finnish School of Kosovo here in Kosovo, Europe. We created a wall of freedom, which is still in our halls. We organized a bake sale where we collected over 500 euros, which are going to be donated to an organization against domestic violence. I would say the one that we are most proud of is the set in stone garden. For over a month, each student gathered rocks. We took these rocks, we wrote down our vows and pledges to end modern day slavery, and then we took all those rocks outside in the middle of our schoolyard, and we spelled out My Freedom Day. So we had this really cool shot where everybody was shouting out My Freedom Day, sort of like a symbolic way to say that our pledges are actually set in stone and they will remain there forever. This, I believe, has made a very long-lasting impact on them, and it's something that they have vowed to actually take on in the following months. You'll see them around the school still doing other things for My Freedom Day.
So as you saw, it's we're extremely proud of
harbours. I was really compelled to take action.
Sorry, just
the harmful effects of discarding fishing nets are enormous. We're simply never going to be able to give the younger generation the opportunities that we...
Because the second video started after that from the web of CNN. But for us, this is an incredible achievement in such a short period of time. CNN has never featured any school, let alone a private international school, on their TV. So I think it's a great achievement. And one of the things that we do, I would say, pretty well at Finnish schools internationally is technology. We have integrated, we have built what we call a digital learning experience a lab where we integrate several technologies. So for example, the new schools that get our franchise, they get the full suite of those apps integrated, and they could start using right away. The other thing is Kunta. We built a town within our school where students learn the concepts of economy, society, and entrepreneurship in a very hands-on level. So they could work at the government or bank or tech startup, and in this way, and use the software. So they do a lot of transaction and stuff. And in this way, they actually learn about the economy and develop their entrepreneurial skills in a very much hands-on level, as well as developing 21st century skills. And I think this is an incredible opportunity for kids to actually learn hands-on things from the very early stages. While the kids learn, the machine also learns on their behalf, and then provides teachers learning analytics to further personalize the learning for kids. And also it provides career guidance, what we call objective career guidance for our students. So what is the business model? There are schools that we operate, manage ourselves, and some together with real estate partners that invest in the campus, and we run it, and some we do everything ourselves. The second one, and that's the most important thing for today, is the franchise. So we provide a full franchising option to current schools that are out there in the world that they want to transform their learning experience, their brand, and acquire our model, or new greenfield schools, new investors who want to actually invest in new private, bilingual, or international schools. So we could customize the model according to them. And the third one is joint venture. In terms of franchising, what do we offer? We offer a full suite, including academics and curriculum, training and development for the staff and leadership, technology, learning environment, help with learning environment design, marketing, branding, and recruitment, staff recruitment, and the full suite of documents and policies. In terms of academic, we provide the full K-12 curriculum, which is inspired by the world-class Finnish curriculum and customized to meet international needs. And it's also benchmarked to English national curriculum. So you would know exactly what you're getting, how this benchmarks to an internationally, I would say, well-known curriculum, such as the English national curriculum. And then we offer the 6 weekly learning objectives, assessment, our assessment model, the school calendar, the handbooks, resource list, and also support with international accreditation if the school is pursuing an international school roadmap. And of course, continuous guidance and support throughout the journey. We provide training and development, from leadership to teacher training, on-site as well as online self-paced trainings that we offer. The learning environment design, we provide help, support, and guidance on how to design the school, how to design the classroom layouts and plans. We offer also maintain a full list of furniture, labs, and resources, and any other suggestion and support, whether it's a new project, or it's an existing project that needs transformation. In technology, we come and set up everything from Microsoft Education Package to school management system, student information system, and learning management system. We also integrate the different apps through our digital learning platform. And then we offer teacher training in the use of technology and continuous guidance and support. As well as we offer the Kunta, the experiential learning city, and the technology behind it that schools can use. Marketing, branding, and recruitment. So branding, website, social media setup, and everything that you need to start running a school or transform an existing school. Staff recruitment. We help schools in leadership or staff recruitment, whether if they want to have, let's say, Finnish teachers or international teachers or local teachers, depending on the business model that the school is pursuing, as well as a full list of documents and policies that are needed to run a successful school. So the full suite of school policies. Some of you might know, some of you not, but there are now close to 300 million students enrolled in private K-12 schools around the world. So private education market is big, and it's growing very, very fast. It's one of the fastest growing sectors around the world. So there is a big need for high quality bilingual or international schools around the world. And for the challenge, for the X-Culture challenge this semester, since you will be doing projects for different countries, different cities, and part of that is also market research, you might come across several school owners that you will interview, and then you will perhaps ask them, whether they would be interested in transforming their school into a Finnish Schools International school. And if you, let's say, one of these potential current school owners or potential school investors would want to do that, we're offering a $10,000 bonus for the team that brings a potential client that turns into a client. So this bonus will be offered only if we basically sign a deal with a potential franchisee based on your work and based on your recommendation and the initial introduction. Now, just some quick details. How much would be the fees for franchising? They depend. We're trying to be really as low as possible. So there will be the initial cost would be between 50,000 to highest could be 150,000 euros. And the annual royalty fee, again, from 6 to 9%, depending on the revenue. So it's scalable. Lower the revenue, higher the royalty fee. And also depending on the initial cost. For example, if somebody wants to pay much less initial cost, they will say we would only want to pay 30,000 franchise fee, and for our cost is much higher. We spend over 100,000 euros for every new franchisee, in the setup, in the training, and in everything else. Then the royalty fee would be higher. But if they pay a higher cost initially, then the royalty fee could be slightly lower. So we're flexible on that, and we negotiate on case by case, depending on the market, depending on the circumstances, depending on the business model. So we work with a potential partner or investor based on the territory, based on their needs, and we try to customize that. So this is from my side an introduction. Now I think I would be happy to have any questions if you may.
Yes, thank you very much, Leighton. I actually have one question. Can I ask you?
Of course.
Okay. Are there new markets that you are particularly interested in, and why, or not?
We actually have done quite a bit of studies, and there is a need for something like this is actually global. Recently, we signed a deal with a partner in Turkey. They're working to actually open 22 schools in the next 5 years in Turkey. For example, Turkey has been one of our interesting markets because there has been a lot of development in private education market. There are 11,200 private schools in Turkey operating, and now there is a consolidation. So now everything is about franchising, because the small individual schools, they find it very difficult to actually survive. It's very hard to survive now in the big crowded private school market. So they working with big franchising companies. Now, the particular markets, one of the interesting markets that we have been looking at for quite some time has been Latin America. For example, that is an interesting market that we've been looking at for quite some time. The other market is Central Eastern Europe. There is a lot of development for smaller schools in countries like Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, and Baltics. But obviously the model there is very different. It's mostly preschool to primary schools, smaller schools, bilingual, most probably, not necessarily premium international schools as we know. But basically, we're open to all around the world. I mean, we're open to places where there is potential, where there is a need for something like what we offer, but also because there has been, for example, several markets that they have developed very fast, and now they need to consolidate. So they need to get a stronger brand in order to compete, to provide a stronger offering for their own students. So even we're looking at existing schools that they could be whether powered by us or completely transformed, rebranded into a Finnish international school, or a Finnish school, a Finnish bilingual school in that particular territory.
Thank you very much. Also, we have Ezekiel here. He is one of the admin of the coaching program, so he will be here to help me host the webinar as well. Okay, thank you, Ezekiel, for joining us.
Thank you.
I can open the questions for the audience. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type in the chat or in the Q&A session. Actually, we have one on the Q&A session, so let me get it. I wanted to ask how this school was financed, just by parents paying school fee?
Yes, basically our schools are tuition-based schools. Most of the private schools around the world are tuition-based schools, except for example, in the United States, you have charter schools, or in the UK, you have academy trusts that are actually financed by public money, basically by taxpayers. Our model is private investors. So basically, as I said, we're looking at private bilingual or private international school markets, looking at existing school owners, investors, or potential school investors, somebody who want to set up a school. They see potential in their particular market, but they're not sure about what way to go. And so that's where we come in, and we bring, I would say, the full suite of a turnkey school solution, or school as a service, as sometimes it's called. Just like the SaaS, software as a service, we bring in the school as a service, with curriculum, with policies, with a model, with a training and support that it's needed to run a world-class school in that particular territory. Fees could differ, from, for example, if it's a bilingual school, it could be anything between in the region of 3,000 to 5,000 euros. And then if it's more of a mid-tier school, it could be around 7,000, 8,000, maximum 10,000 euros or dollars per year. And then if it's more of an international premium school, it's in the region of around 15 to 20K per year. We work with all three brackets depending on the market, depending on the potential investor and what they want to achieve in their market.
Thank you, Leighton. I also have two other questions, okay? Did COVID affect your business?
Did COVID? Yes. COVID affected our business quite a bit. However, because we're very strong in technology, we've had a growth even during COVID, and we've had wonderful results in many ways. We use GL assessments, which is a world-class. We are a GS center of excellence, actually. I think the only one in this region, based on the GL assessments that we used on. We assess cognitive abilities, we assess the reading age and how it's changing, we assess the math skills and science skills. We have done actually incredibly well. However, COVID has shaped our business model as well. We initially didn't want to franchise at all. We wanted to completely build, own and operate our own schools. Due to COVID, of course, things have moved in a slightly different direction, and hence we are now also opening up the franchising option.
We have two questions on the Q&A.
Yes, two questions. Will you be sharing with the teams the franchise information utilized to present to potential clients? Yes, I would. What I could do, I could share this presentation that I did today with all of you guys. I think that's first, and then of course this is more of an introductory meeting that you would have with potential clients, but then they would of course want to get to dig deeper into what we offer, and then of course we would be happy to schedule in the initial call with these potential investors. So of course we can definitely do that. We're also completely redesigning our web page. So in a matter of a month and a half, we expect to launch a new web page for FSI with much more information, much more focusing on the franchising aspects of the business. The question from Emily. Thank you, Patricia. Emily, how did you find investors for your school model? In my current school, actually, I and my family, we invested ourselves. So we built a new campus and everything from scratch with all of our money. However, a story to tell you. When I launched in 2017, and I told people that actually you will be starting in in September 2018, everybody was laughing. They said, how the hell can you launch a school 14 months in advance? And I said, enrollments are open. And everybody was saying that, how can you think that actually, people will pay before you even, I didn't even have a campus at that time. We just had a plan because it was still work in progress, building the campus. And what happened is that in 2 weeks, we got 200,000 euros in our bank account from parents who actually prepaid to enroll their kids into our school before they 14 months before their kids would actually be into our school. So they still were paying for another school, most probably, if they were in another private or international school. Maybe not if they were in a public school. But and then I have to admit that actually we had around 600,000 euros in our bank account around 6 months before the school started. So we this money helped us secure a bigger loan that we needed to actually finance part of our campus development. So we first, if I could say, sold, then we provided the service. Of course, one of the reasons why this happened is also because I guess people know us from before and what we have done in education. So there is this trust, credibility, and which is important. But it's also because we brought a fresh air into the market. We brought a very different concept into this, and I think people valued that, and that's why they wanted to bring their kids there.
We have another question from Patricia. We will be sharing with the teams the business already approached, so there isn't any double dipping.
Yes, I understand that. Yes, sure. We will. The thing is, if you're from, for example, in a territory, let's say you work in, let's say Germany. I think Emily was from Germany, so somewhere. But let's say Germany, and you're working there. We could definitely share with you the potential people we're talking to in that particular territory. I have to admit that we are just launching the franchising. We're still developing the web for the franchising purpose. So we don't have many prospects at the moment. So you won't be in a way conflicting. Most probably you will not go to someone that we have already been in contact with. There have been around 20-25 potential clients from around the world. However, we didn't have, I would say, many clients except those, because we haven't started anything in terms of marketing for this particular product. We focused on building the product, if I could say so, building a world-class school model that made global headlines from a very, I would say, challenging environment, challenging country. And USA, what we did 3 years ago with X-Culture was we looked at, we did a research around the world whether a school like ours would be interesting in different countries. And US, especially since Patricia is in the West and East Coast, and in US, we've had a lot of excitement and interest around there. And for example, one potential investor, potential case we're looking at is a small city in Arizona, Maricopa. So we're talking to them. For example, they want a school like ours in their community, and we're still looking at, I think that would be more of a joint venture rather than a simple franchise. But apart from that, we don't have anything in US concretely at the moment that I could tell you that, well, we have a prospect, or we have a, because we haven't done any, I would say, any work so far.
May I ask another question?
Sure.
You talk about that your main customer are schools, right? If someone
Or
is
other investors who want to invest in a school.
okay. So if someone is homeschooled, she or he cannot have access to FCI, or they can.
Now we have had in the past a global online arm of our company, but we decided last year to discontinue it because we had small numbers. We had around 30 something students, and for us it was a matter of actually, it was very hard to grow the numbers that we wanted at that stage, so we decided not to do that. However, for example, we would like to work with smaller centers, for example, that they want to turn their centers into a school, so that we could provide the rest. We could also provide for those centers even the teaching online if they want to. We have the team and capabilities to actually provide to them and for them if they want to. But we also can, for example, now we're building a very strong digital campus, as we call it. So the learning materials all basically in line with our curriculum standards, all curriculum aligned, are to provide it. So then it will be much easier for them to find, I would say, qualified teachers that we could train and coach and mentor to actually teach on the ground without the necessity of actually doing it fully online.
Do you have any questions, Zikyo?
Let me just see.
Oh, Patricia also sent a message. I am in the USA and I have connections with West and East Coast. So yes, I think it will help Alitin, right?
Yeah. Emily asking, is it hard to find qualified teachers right now? It is. Qualified teachers is a global shortage, so it's not easy. That's why we strongly recommend that the schools that we work with don't rely fully on expat international teachers. So bilingual schools are good options where you could find very good qualified local teachers that we could train and bring them up to speed with what we offer. But then for you, for example, as an investor, what that means is that you still have a longer term commitment, lower costs, and at some cases even higher quality teachers. Just being expat or international doesn't mean you're better than the local teacher. Of course, there are world-class international teachers all around the world, but I would say that, you know, relying in only one or the other, it's not the case. So there is a shortage, obviously, but I think, for example, we get a lot of good candidates because people want to work for a school that is different, that is exciting, that provides teachers room for to bring their own creativity. Teachers design their own classes. They can design even their own curriculum. So it's the flexibility makes them much more inclined to work with us.
We have another question from Patricia.
The teaching credential license would need to meet not only the schools, but the region's requirements as well. Yes, well, the size, I mean, our kind of cap has been 20 students per class. Some schools go up to 24, but I would say that that's the norm. In terms of the teacher qualifications and those things, we have to also work with local, regional, or national regulatory authorities. For example, ministries of education or departments of education in different countries or different states. Because, for example, let's say in Kosovo, in order to teach, you need to have a master's in education. So teacher qualification is a master's in education. In US, you have the teacher qualification status that you get. Different states have different criterias for that, you know. So it all depends, and that has to be done with the local, I would say, with a local investor and looking at the local regulation.
Regarding on how do you reach customers, do you have any current promotional channels? Do you do something on social media or something like that?
Currently, we haven't done anything. What we're doing in the next 3 months is we are completely redesigning the web, and then we're pursuing mostly a pay-per-click campaign and a referrals-based campaign. So we have a lot of, we have a strong network globally of educators, I would say, and so we're building that. And also, for example, we believe that through X Culture, we might reach many potential clients, because you have a wonderful you know, group of global students in 70 countries working on these projects, and they have access to many people in their region or even beyond that. So this is our strategy. Also, we will attend, you know, different conferences. We will sponsor different conferences. And that's how we intend to build. Of course, we're not looking to build very fast. It's more of a, for example, this next year, our target is around 5 schools, in addition to the schools in Turkey, which is a different model because they're doing a bit faster. And the question, how long, in terms of years, does it take for a franchise to fully merge or immerse into our system? I mean, to really to be able to say that this is a full FSI school, I think it takes around 3 to 4 years to settle everything down. Of course, you know, from the first day, you would be offering our model and what we do. However, it takes time because it's not a very standardized system like the British, for example, where you basically plug and play. It's not that simple. However, we work very hard, and we work very closely with the teams on the ground in the schools to make their transition and immersion as fast and as smooth as possible.
I have another question. What are the strategic plans for the next 5 years or foreseeable future?
Well, in the next 5 years, we're looking to actually build at least 30 schools around the world and to make an impact in those communities. With the expansion of the network, we're trying to build shared services as well among and create different basically platforms where actually students and staff from these different schools would work together in projects. We already do that now, even with schools, for example, in Finland and some other schools around the world. There are partner schools with us, and we believe that through this, we could really create a global network of like-minded people around the world who would develop into smart, into creative, but also happy and healthy individuals. And that would really contribute to the world peace, and that would contribute to the development of their communities, of their countries, and first and then to the world.
Thank you. Is there any other question?
One other thing I would suggest is if you go to our school, in the Kosovo school Facebook page or YouTube channel, I will try to write them down here, and I will answer Simona's question later, just now. This is the Facebook. I wrote in the chat. I think, sorry, no, this is only for hosts and panelists.
Oh,
I will
yes.
write it down to.
I can do it for you.
Okay, can you do it to all? Huh?
There you go.
Okay, to everyone. Yes, excellent. And then YouTube channel. I think you just search Finnish School of Kosovo or Finnish Schools International. I'm not quite sure now which one is the channel. You will see a lot of videos of what actually happens. It gives you a very good overview of what the school is about. In terms of what is the average payback time on an investment, it all depends case by case. For example, operationally, I was profitable in the first year in the school in Kosovo. If we don't take into account the capital investment, so the campus. Let's say you're renting the place. Let's say a real estate developer builds the campus for you, or you just rent a building and transform it into a school. You could get the investment. You could be profitable in the first year. Now, the investment, what will be the average investment? If you have a campus, you wouldn't need more than 300,000 euros to actually start a good K-12 school. So that would be 300,000 euros or dollars, up to 500,000. I would say the highest that you could think of. We're talking about if you have an existing building. Now, if you want to build a campus, it could cost you $100 million. It could cost you $5 million. It could cost you $2 million. It depends where, it depends what. So it all depends what you're building, where you're building, how you're building it. So that differs from country to country. But on average, to start a school, I think you don't need more than 300 to 500K as a startup capital. That will be enough for you to actually pay the franchise fee, to pay a few people in the first year. I mean, that will work on the school, to pay for the equipment and furniture and everything. I mean, 300K should be enough in most places. 500,000 would be enough in almost any other place. We're talking about small schools with around 300 students that we're discussing. If it's bigger, then of course it could go to 1 million. If it's for, I don't know, over 500 students or something like that. And then the building, again, you want to build a school for 300 students around 3,000 to 4,000 square meters, or around 30-ish thousand square feet. Depends. In the United States, it could cost you, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 million maybe. In Kosovo, that would cost you 1.5 million, for example, to build only that one. I mean, we invested around 4 million in our school campus because we really wanted to build a state-of-the-art campus for 500 students capacity, but it all depends.
Thank you. Actually, I have one last question. Would you do something different if you just started the business from scratch right now?
Oh, yes. I would have invested much more at the beginning in some standardization, standard operating procedures, and standardizing the curriculum. So it took us some time to actually come there. Now, what we offer to the franchisees is getting rid of those headaches. So when you want to start a school, you usually say, why would I pay 100K to someone when I could do it all by myself, you know? And that's what people do. I actually invested over 1 million in the processes, in the curriculum, in building up the model. So it was because I worked for 2.5 years, 3 years from when we started the company until we launched the first school. So it's been a lot of investment on the soft side of the things as well, not just on the building the school. But still, I would have invested a bit more in some other things because then it was a lot of headache in the first 2 years, especially that we had to, you know, these challenges came up that we didn't foresee at the beginning, and that's why I think franchising is much easier process because you get a proven model with everything, a kind of a turnkey model for yourself.
Thank you, Leighton. Do we have one last question? We have just 1 minute, so we can end the meeting. Anyone else have a question? No? Everything okay now? So I think that's it, Leighton. Do you have any mail for contact or something like that?
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's really an honor. I have known X-Culture, as I said, from the very beginnings. We've become friends with Vas for many years, and this is my third time participating with X-Culture from the company perspective. So we've been extremely happy at what we got from X-Culture students in the past, and really grateful for your work. I just want to wish you all the best. You are excellent students, and I think this is a golden opportunity to work on such a interesting platform with you know peers from around the world. And I think you enjoy this experience and get the most out of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Zico, for backing me up here, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Okay. So see you guys next time. Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.